Okay, Mr. Ayala here, and today I'm going to show you, after I set this up correctly, how to draw a cube. Okay, and these are some examples here. Okay, so with a piece of paper, the first thing we're going to remember is what vertical lines are, which are like this, horizontal and diagonal. Okay, and the key term here is parallel. Okay, so I'm going to use sketchy lines, which are lines that aren't, really dark, to give me an idea of what direction I want to draw. Okay, now you've got to find a stroke that's comfortable. Like, for example, if I'm going to draw a line this way, it's easier for me to turn the paper that way. So let us just use this as an example, okay? So I'm going to come this way and I'm going to draw a vertical line like this. Okay, I'm going to draw another vertical line like that. They are parallel. Now, for me to do a horizontal line like this and like this, that's parallel, I want to turn the paper a little bit. So I find a natural spot that makes me feel like I'm doing it a little bit easier. Okay, so there we have a kind of square. Okay, now I want to do a diagonal line. So again, I'm going to find the spot that, okay, like this. Okay, that makes it more comfortable to draw. Okay, now I have 3 diagonal lines in each one of these corners. Now I want a parallel line that's horizontal from here to create the backside. So again, I decide where that is the most comfortable. So I'm saying like right about here. And then another parallel line from here to here. Okay, there, I've created a cube, but really it's not a cube until you add value to it. So let me go ahead and darken these in. Okay, again, turning the paper to make it easier. You know, you don't need to twist your wrist all up in a knot trying to find, okay, a way of drawing. That goes against your natural flow. Okay, so there's my cube. Now let us say that the light is coming from this direction. Okay, this top of the cube is going to be exposed to more light, okay? This not as much, and this hardly any. So let's start with this backside here. This backside would be fairly dark because it's not getting a lot of light. The light is pretty much blocked off by the cube itself. Alright. So we'll say this is a dark value, okay? Okay, now you can hear my grandkids over there, probably. Okay, now, there we go. Now this would be, my head getting in the way, this would be a middle value. Okay, which is not as dark, somewhat in the middle. Okay, and I'll go every direction, I don't care. Just trying to make a middle value, smooth it out, move the paper around. It's a good habit of moving the paper around. You know, keep your hand in one spot and let the paper move for you instead of you moving for the paper, because you have control of the paper. Okay, there's the cube. Now, I'm going to do what's called a cast shadow. This is the shadow that you see like when you're walking and, you know, the shadow follows you. Okay, so it's going to follow this line here, okay? And it's going to come up here and it'll probably be parallel to this, okay? So again, let me find this. Okay, here and here, alright. Alright, there we go. And this cast shadow will probably be fairly dark too. So let me... Now think about light. If you really want to understand light, you have to use models. Get an actual cube. Actually put light on it. Because light bounces around. It does crazy things. There's what's called reflective light. and that's where light will bounce off the table and illuminate certain sections of the cube. Okay, for example, the light would come like here, the light would bounce off and hit this section and bounce here and go here and there, and even, you know, some of that would have some sort of illumination to it. But in order to really know that, you have to use actual models, and that's what's done a lot in art. Okay, now I'm going to put a line back here representing like the top of a table. Okay, there's a cube that's sitting on the table. Okay, so I would recommend that you do that one of these days. Go ahead and actually make a model. Get a cube, put a light on it, watch it move around. We might do that in class, but our classes, it's really hard to get the right light, dramatic light, because it needs to be pretty dark. You need to have a really strong light source like the sun. I'm going to show you another way of doing a cube really quick. We're going to start with a vertical line, but this time we're going to go diagonal this way, and instead of doing a square here, we're going to go diagonal this way and diagonal this way. Now we're going to do a parallel line, a line that's parallel to this one, and another parallel line here. So 3 vertical lines that are parallel, and then here, and here diagonal, and then another diagonal line that's parallel to that line. Okay, so this is another way of doing a cube that's fairly easy, fairly quick. Now we go ahead and darken these out, sketch lines. Now there are 5 basic forms. The cube is one form, okay? Shh. Goodness. The cube is one form. This is my grandkids again acting crazy. The cube is one form. There are 4 other ones that we're going to do. So then we have to create a shadow going this way this time, okay? Assuming the light is coming from this direction. Alright, so then we're going to darken this up, because this has the least amount of light hitting it. Alright. I'm almost done with this video, but try to disregard that background noise, because it's just life as it happens, you know. Okay. It's hard to get away from life. It happens when you have other plans. Okay, so being that the light's coming from this direction, this won't have as much light either. Okay. And this time, the shadow cast is going to be like right here. Alright, let's bring this to a close. Oh my goodness. So hard sometimes, okay. There you go. Okay, that's kind of another way of doing a cube. Draw a little line here that represents... Anyway, there's a lot of different ways of doing it, but that's just a couple. Okay? That's the cube. C-U-B-E. And a cube has to have value, which some people refer to as shading. Alright, Mr. Ayala, this is part 1. Part 2 will be drawing boxes.